Chloe Peterson says, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. So Caitlin Clark basically got hurt again. How did she get hurt again? I don't know. It's definitely looking hella spooky right now, because if Caitlin was hurt and supposed to have been not doing certain things, how do the Fever organization allow her to get hurt again?
Man, this is just brutal for Indiana Fever fans. It's like a lightning bolt hit him, right? Another injury, another huge setback. It's a gut punch, reminding us that even someone like Caitlin Clark isn't invincible. The player who made every arena feel special. She's now stuck in this endless cycle of injury reports. And get this, it's not just a few games she's missing. We're talking about an entire season. It really feels like the league's most electrifying talent is just being systematically torn down.
What were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place? Just a there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell. What is the payout for somebody who bet, oh, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions? What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs? Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever you want to call them, they are suddenly reporting an August 7th ankle injury.
Look, the stats for Clark this season are just heartbreaking. Even the most optimistic fan would be bummed out by these. She's missed 22 games already. Can you believe that? 22 games, that's more games than some players miss in their entire careers.
None of this stuff, like, why tell us now? None of this stuff is just, it's not making sense, man. I mean, this organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. Like, God, like, what is going on? What is going on, man? I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. It's just flat out, it's absurd. I don't even, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's liars. We can't get the truth about anything. There's a video of Caitlin Clark trying to jog. She looks awful just trying to trot. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is terrible. I told y'all, it's a wrap. I don't want to say it's a wrap. I told y'all she's done for the season. It's a wrap.
What's crazy is this is the same woman who never missed a single game in 4 years at Iowa. Plus, she played every single contest in her rookie WNBA season. Now, she's just racking up injuries. We're talking a left quad strain, then a left groin, then a right groin injury. And get this, she even got a bone bruise in her left ankle while she was trying to rehab from those other injuries. It honestly feels like we're just watching a masterpiece get ruined right before our eyes.
And so yesterday, we knew about the quad injury earlier this summer. We knew about the groin injury that's kept her sidelined damn near the entire season. Now we are being told that Caitlin Clark suffered a bone bruise in her ankle during a workout 2 weeks ago. This poor girl is falling apart in her early 20s. Part of me understands the push to get Caitlin Clark back on the court. The Indiana Felines are barely hanging on to their playoff spot.
So, let's talk about what's actually happening here, because this isn't just some streak of bad luck. This feels systematic. It feels calculated, even. It's like the WNBA is just standing by watching their biggest star get carved up bit by bit, and they're doing absolutely nothing to stop it. Remember how much promise Clark's 2025 season had? The Fever had built this championship level team around her. Fans had their calendars circled. They bought season tickets. Everyone was dreaming big. But then reality just crashed the party. You know, like that annoying relative at Thanksgiving.
Because Caitlin Clark is the most covered player the WNBA has ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweak something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right. Scott Agnes reports Fever All-Star guard Caitlin Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout in Phoenix, league sources told Fieldhouse Files. Chloe Peterson confirms this. Sources confirm to me that Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle. A tweak, bone bruise, forget it.
Here's what happened. The first injury was that left quad strain, which sidelined her for 5 games. But Clark, being Clark, she just bounced right back. She dropped 32 points on the defending champion New York Liberty. For a second there, it felt like the basketball gods were actually smiling down on us. But man, that smile was a cruel joke. The left groin injury came next, stealing 4 more games from all of us who just wanted to watch her play. And when she finally did return, she just wasn't the same. She was averaging only 12.5 points on 31% shooting over those 4 games. The spark was gone. The magic just wasn't there.
The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice. Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seemed to point in the direction of Clark returning soon.
And then came what felt like the knockout punch. That right groin injury on July 15th against Connecticut. That's kept her off the court for 13 straight games and counting. But wait, there's more. Because apparently, the basketball gods have a really messed up sense of humor. While trying to rehab from her groin injury, Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout on August 7th. Oh, just a very mild bone bruise, they said. It won't affect her timeline, they said. But here's the thing about this many injuries, they don't happen in a vacuum. They layer on top of each other. It's like a house of cards that just keeps falling down.
And we have no idea when Caitlin Clark is coming back or if she is coming back at all. Every time that they get asked, they just say TBD. We have no idea what's going on, which is, in my opinion, quite suspicious. You kind of know what is going to happen with an injury. The doctors can give you an estimate. The player can tell you, you know, I'm not really feeling that great. I don't expect to be coming back. But she has been practicing with the team. Maybe she's going to come back for the playoffs and help them get that championship, or at least try to get the championship.
Listen, this is where the whole story gets really infuriating. This didn't just happen out of nowhere. This wasn't some freak accident or some unavoidable twist of fate. No, this was the inevitable outcome of a league that basically encouraged its players to treat Caitlin Clark like a tackling dummy in a basketball uniform. Remember all those cheap shots, the eye pokes, the blindside shoves that sent Clark flying to the ground while officials just stood there doing nothing? Marina Mabrey shoved Clark to the floor, and that only got upgraded to a flagrant 2 after the game was over. JC Sheldon going for Clark's eye. It was player after player taking their best shot at the league's biggest star, and they knew the refs would either look away or just give them some useless technical foul.
Yeah, it's crazy. They can't see all of these fouls and flagrants that's happening, especially when it comes to our precious CC, Caitlin Clark, at the end of the day, but they have time to pay attention to your podcast and finding you. You know what I'm saying? Because of you calling them out on they miss. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about them jive turkeys like they would say in the 70s. At the end of the day, keep it to yourself. Even if you did know when Caitlin Clark, aka my precious and our precious CC, was coming back, which we know she's not coming back. She's out for the rest of the season. She needs to stay out for the rest of the season because of this organization in the WNBA is a whole catastrophe.
And remember, Lisa Bluter, Clark's old coach from Iowa, she totally saw this coming. She was calling for real rule changes, for fines that would actually hurt, for ejections when players went too far. But the WNBA, they were too busy just counting all the money Clark was bringing in to actually protect her. They let the physical play get out of control. They allowed the targeting to happen. They literally watched their golden goose get beaten down game after game, and they did nothing. And now they're dealing with the mess they created. The player who single-handedly brought their league to new heights is stuck on the sideline. She's watching her sophomore season just disappear, and officials are still pretending this is all just some big coincidence. The irony is just too much. Clark never missed a single game in her entire basketball career until this season, and now she's missed 60% of the 2025 campaign. This woman, who turned every arena into a sold-out party, who made fans pay sixes and indictors just to be in the same building as her greatness, is now reduced to vague Instagram stories and practice updates that never seem to arrive. Coach Stephanie White just keeps giving these non-answers, saying things like, until she can get into practice, until you see her in practice, it's really status quo. That basically translates to, they have no idea when or if she's even coming back. The regular season wraps up on September 9th. The playoffs start on September 14th. Every single day that goes by, that window just closes a little more.
I can't stand Stephanie White because she keeps covering up and doing lies. I find her very deceiving, and she lacks integrity. She don't tell the truth. Remember, she covered for Dewana Bonner, saying she had personal reasons and didn't tell the truth about it. And then she lied about Caitlin Clark's injury, where it was a lot severe than it was, but she said day to day and kept stringing a carrot. And then once again, she lied again and didn't say a word about her being hurt, getting her ankle hurt. What's up with this team being like very deceiving and not telling the truth and not like being transparent with the fans? Like, people love Caitlin Clark. They want to know what's going on. They're worried about her groin injury. Is she getting better? Is she not? You know, we're all thinking, oh, she might be coming back soon.
To their credit, the Fever have actually managed to stay afloat without their superstar, going 10-9 in the games Clark has missed. But let's be real here. They built this team to win a championship, not just to survive without their best player. Right now, they're in 6th place at 19-16, literally holding on to a playoff spot by their fingernails, watching their championship dreams just disappear with every game Clark isn't playing. And get this, the injuries are just piling up around her too. Sydney Colson with a torn ACL, Ari McDonald with a broken foot, Sophie Cunningham with another significant injury. It's like the basketball gods decided to punish the entire franchise just for daring to build something special around their amazing talent. Indiana Fever fans aren't just disappointed, they're absolutely furious. And honestly, they have every right to be. They invested in season tickets, they planned their entire schedules around these games. They believed in a championship run. Instead, they're watching their team's medical staff give updates that sound more like hostage negotiations than actual injury reports. That frustration is just so clear on social media. Fans are begging the Fever to just shut Clark down for the season instead of risking more injury. Others are demanding investigations into the league's officiating and their player safety rules. Some people are even questioning if the WNBA and the Fever are being totally honest about how bad Clark's injuries actually are. Sophie Cunningham, Clark's teammate who's now also out for the season, she tried to defend the organization against all these conspiracy theories, but her words just feel hollow when you're looking at this level of systematic failure. When your star player goes from never missing a game to missing more than half a season, you know something is just fundamentally broken.
She is a injured, but she suffered 3 lower leg injuries, and now we're talking about Caitlin Clark suffering a minor leg injury as well in practice, which has affected her shot while she was trying to play through her injuries, affected her shooting for her long distance, her jumping, her elevation. We all know what happens when you aren't right as a guard and you have to get lift and you have to score, you have to push off on your legs and your foot. You do not want to risk Caitlin Clark coming back and her suffering serious injury that may prolong her being out for even longer. That's not what you want to do. We've seen it happen to Kevin Durant. When he came back, he had a calf strain. We've seen it happen to...
The thing is, the league is in a completely impossible spot right now. Their biggest draw, their most marketable star, the player who was their ticket to mainstream fame, she's just sitting on the bench. The same player who filled arenas to the brim and sent TV ratings through the roof is now just a huge question mark with no real answers. And on top of that, the WNBA is dealing with all these other embarrassing issues, you know, sex toys getting thrown onto courts, security problems, and just this general feeling that they've lost control of their own story. But nothing, absolutely nothing compares to this Clark situation. This isn't just about one player or one team. This is about the league's complete failure to protect its most valuable asset. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert can talk about player safety task forces all she wants, but where was that task force when Clark was getting cheap-shotted game after game? Where were the suspensions? Where were the fines that actually mattered? Where was the protection for the player who was literally saving their league from being totally forgotten?
The storylines in the WNBA dump have been non-existent since Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been injured. Now with Sophie Cunningham out for the season, there are literally no stars in the WNBA. It would not surprise me if the Indiana Felines were being pressured by either the WNBA Players Union or the league itself. Hell, maybe both. It wouldn't surprise me if the Felines were being pressured to get the Roo from Waterloo back on the court. But like I've been telling you guys for weeks, Caitlin Clark is not coming back this season.
Now, as we're sitting here in late August with only 9 regular season games left, the tough truth is really sinking in. Clark might not play another minute this season. The bone bruise in her ankle, even though they called it mild, happened while she was already rehabbing from other injuries, and her groin, it's still not healed enough for her to even practice. Time is just running out and hope is fading fast. Rachel Damata, an analyst for the WNBA, she actually made the bold prediction that so many fans are thinking but nobody wants to say out loud, I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming back. Man, those words just hit you like a sledgehammer if you've been holding on to any hope. The woman who was supposed to be the face of the WNBA's new era, the player who was gonna lead Indiana to their first championship in decades, is now just fighting to get back onto a practice court. It's heartbreaking. It's infuriating. It's the kind of sports tragedy that just makes you wonder about everything.
This is the last thing that I'll say about that podcast interview. As Sophie did mention, she talked about Caitlin Clark briefly and her recovery, and she basically just said, like, it is a day-to-day thing. Caitlin doesn't even know when she will be back. So she didn't really give any more information than that, but I think a lot of fans are speculating, will Caitlin Clark be back? Because Sophie is now out for the season, will the Indiana Fever risk it by bringing Caitlin Clark back? If Sophie is out, do the Fever even have a chance in the playoffs? Why would you bring Caitlin Clark back? Should you bring Caitlin Clark back? Will she be practicing this week? They have a tough stretch of games. Are they going to bring her back against a team like the Minnesota Lynx? We just don't know. And I, like I've said in the past few videos, I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming back.
Here's what nobody really wants to admit. This was all preventable. Every single one of these injuries could have been avoided if the WNBA had just done their job, if they had actually protected their stars instead of letting them get mauled out there, if they had called fouls instead of always looking the other way, if they had prioritized player safety over just letting them play. But they didn't. They let Caitlin Clark become a punching bag for jealous veterans and those dirty players who just couldn't match her talent. They allowed this culture of targeting and cheap shots to just grow, while their biggest star absorbed hit after hit after hit. And now, they're stuck dealing with the consequences. The saddest part, this isn't just about one season. This is about a whole career path that's been derailed by pure league incompetence. Clark was supposed to be hitting her prime right now, building on that historic rookie year, leading the charge for women's basketball to finally go mainstream. Instead, she's learning what it's like to be fragile, to be vulnerable, to be human.
Is that something you and the medical staff just kind of reiterate with her? Just, hey, it's okay, take your time, there's a big picture we got to keep out here?
Yeah, and I think just the experience throughout the year, trying to come back and come back quickly, has also taught her, that she needs to make sure that she's 100%. And yes, every competitor wants to play. But at the same time, doing it the right way and making sure after we've had a couple of setbacks that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
And the fans who used to pack arenas just to watch her warm up, now they're holding their breath every time she steps foot on a court, if she even does again this season. The media that turned her into a household name is now just writing injury updates instead of amazing highlight reels. The WNBA, the league she single-handedly dragged into the spotlight, is now scrambling, trying to figure out what to do without their biggest star. Caitlin Clark didn't just face another new setback with another new injury. She became the victim of a systematic failure by a league that completely forgot the most basic rule of business: protect your investments. And now, as the 2025 season just slips away and all those championship dreams crumble, we're left wondering if we'll ever see that same explosive, game-changing Caitlin Clark, who absolutely took the basketball world by storm. The countdown clock is ticking, the playoffs are almost here, and the WNBA's golden goose is still stuck in the trainer's room, all because of their own negligence. It's not just a setback, it's a full-blown catastrophe, and the absolute worst part, it was entirely preventable.